I'm down here. I'm down here. I'm recording both. I'm recording this, looking at this book at the same time as me. Welcome to my channel. I'm very glad you clicked on this thumbnail. Could you let me know what made you click on this thumbnail? Are you a big fan of this particular book, Graceling by Kristin Cashore, or are you a big fan of Gareth Hinds? A big shout out to Gareth Hinds. He answered my email, and gave me permission to review his book on my YouTube channel, since I'm just getting going on my YouTube channel. I'm promoting my book, my own graphic memoir of how I used my health and fitness knowledge to stop my mother with mild dementia from forgetting me, and it worked. So in the process, I learned to love graphic books. I wish I started reading them a long time ago. I also wish I could have introduced my father to them. I think he would have really liked them. But they're different. They're so much different than when I was a kid, but I can't really tell you that, I guess, since I wasn't reading them until recently. So I decided to read this Graceling book and review it. It is a fantastic book, and I really like Gareth Hinds' art, and I really like Kristin Cashore's book. She wrote a fantastic book, Girl Power, and I have been a fitness instructor for 35 years, and I question a lot of the stuff when they immediately think that women are weaker, and because you have men and women of all different weights and strengths, and I was kind of looking up on the internet to see if there was some kind of co-ed test, and there really isn't. I mean, even when Joe Rogan immediately says that some woman cannot knock down somebody going into the January 6th. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan too, but I mean, there's some men that a woman could take over, like Gina Carano. Gina Carano, she could do damn good. But anyways, let's get on to Graceling. This is the graphic novel. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I borrowed it from the library. It's the library is always a good recourse. The art in here is fantastic, so even purchasing it and saving it for yourself for your collection would be a good idea. And I might do that myself. The art was fantastic. So I want to go over. I'm not going to tell you the ending. I'm not going to do a spoiler alert, but I'm going to share some of my favorite scenes and what I think is even more fantastic art. So. And some stuff that you can't see in watching a movie, and of course you can't see it as a textbook. So this is the first page. This is during some fight scenes with the lead character, Katza. You know what I also did with this book? And I'm a firm believer, we're always learning. And I study a lot of brain books to help my mother. And they say that when you hear something as well as see it, and see it, hear it, and teach it. There's three of them there. You see it, you hear it, and you say it. Those three things make you remember something more. So when I read this book, I read it out loud. I was even on my back patio in the sun getting my vitamin D. You have to get your vitamin D. The sun does not cause skin cancer. The standard American diet does. So I was saying it out loud in my bedroom when I was reading it as well as outside. So if you're having trouble trying to remember a novel, I'm going to see in the future, because this is actually the very first book that I read the whole thing out loud to see how much of it I remember now, even talking to you. I just finished it last night, so it shouldn't be that long. But I wanted to point out, now in movies, this kind of reminded me of Jean-Claude Van Damme in one of his movies when he was doing the splits between two 18-wheelers. You don't really get this kind of perspective, so I've also tagged a few pages where I'm going to try to spend my art, improving my art by my favorite art in this book and copy it. So I'm going to try copying this scene from Katza fighting. And at this point, the people that she's fighting don't know that she is a she, right? So this is a really good perspective. You don't get this in movies. They never show an anti-view of people fighting. They probably couldn't. They really probably can't. So you get a lot more perspective from reading books, right? And they don't call it the idiot box for nothing. You don't really learn from watching TV and movies, but you learn a lot from reading, and especially, as I keep mentioning, when you look at an image, that's more of a challenge to your brain than even playing chess. So looking at the graphic books, I wonder if they'll do some studies in the future that's even better for your brain than reading textbooks. So this is the first one that I wanted to share. And I actually borrowed the actual textbook of Kristin's book from the library, because I would wonder whether she has the map in there. She might, But if she doesn't, that's one of the benefits of a graphic book, because you actually get to see, and so you can visualize a little more. There's one other map in here that describes how they travel in mountains and their choices and stuff. Since this is all fictional, as far as I can understand, it's all fictional. It's not real countries, right? So I wanted to share that. Just one of the benefits of reading a graphic book, right? And sometimes if you're having a hard time, even in school, studying some of the classic books, maybe you can create your own little graphic book. I mean, simple stuff, but to help you remember it and help you learn it, right? So the art was really good. Bottom right, people don't think. Oh, there's a as a teacher here, there's a little expression where she says, "Why do they keep crossing him?" So she works, or she's kind of a not really a concubine, but she works for a king who's an evil king, and people keep crossing him, and then she has to go out. I don't want to spoil, but this is the beginning of the book, so I'm not really spoiling it. But she has to go out and do his dirty work, and she makes a comment, "So why do they keep crossing him?" And my answer is, because people don't think of the consequences. As a teacher, I've had people lie to me, and do they not think that I'm going to double check? You know, the people just don't think of the consequences. So if that ever struggles you, why people do things that they know they're going to get in trouble for, I believe that they just don't think ahead. They're not thinking the big picture. They're not thinking about the consequences. So the art here is really good. Oh, okay. I already told you that I read it all out loud. I'm going to copy. I want to make sure I keep this page so I can copy some of the facial expressions. I really have a desire to copy facial expressions, and I sometimes think that maybe if you're having trouble as an artist copying some actors, like if you copy Jack Nicholson's facial expression in A Few Good Men, when Tom Cruise points out to him, "Well, why did you have to remove him off the base if everybody listens to you?" And Jack Nicholson's expression during that scene is, I think, one of the best ones I've ever seen. I always love that movie. I watch it over again. But I might do that as an artist if I write my own complete graphic novel myself. This is the next part. So, oh yeah, and I kind of wanted to make a joke, so she's fighting Poe, and of course she's wearing a skirt, so just like Ginger Rogers always said, she was going backwards in heels with Fred Astaire, so she was doing even more athleticism. So she's fighting in a skirt, and it kind of would be a nice distraction, not really nice, I'm not sure that's the right word, but a distraction, like he's got to always look up her skirt, so that would help her, right? She could distract him with the skirt, right? And also, sometimes I've seen some movies where they use the skirt to their advantage, wrapping around their head, so they can't see. Oh, and then I'm going to copy this facial expression. This is awesome. I mean, the eyes, showing the facial expression. Because I think that reading the books, you also have a chance to really look at it. In movies, it goes by so fast, right? So now you get a good chance to really welcome it all in and really understand the story. I don't think I'm going too fast here. Oh, so I'm going to copy his facial expression. I love that. The art here is really good. I'll have to ask Gareth what programs he used. If he used Procreate, or if he's drawing it all himself. That's always lots and lots of challenges, right? So the art here and his facial expression. And Poe predicted that he would. I don't want to do too many spoiler alerts. And look at this, that beautiful, right? Look at the blue and the green. Oh, and this is what I really wanted to copy. Look at their eyes. It is cool to have all of these men terrified of a woman. Notoriously, women don't fight back, but we always could. So you can always fight back. We don't have to fit the stereotypes. And there was a couple of this. Yeah, this is when. There was one couple of pages here where I was kind of a little bit in tears, just thinking the force and the power. And I always think of like Tom Cruise in the Jack Reacher movie, where he was absolutely positive that he could beat them. And the same as Denzel Washington in the Enforcer movie. The level of confidence in people in some movies and actors just always gets all of my admiration. So the level of confidence that she had, and they all knew it, so look at their eyes, right? It's fantastic, right? So here I'm going to copy this king's face. I already told you guys about Jack Nicholson. Oh, and then she finally kind of realized how he was manipulating her. And girl power, we can do it, right? We can do anything, right? And you can't see this. Oh, yeah, and you can't see this type of stuff in a textbook or even a movie because it goes by so fast unless you really slow down your movie, right? So you can see the expression. And then there's some other scenes later on that I don't really want to do a spoiler alert because I really want you guys to read the book. But there are some other different stuff that I've never seen in any movie, and like I said, I'm just learning some of the graphic books. I would wonder if anybody reads a lot of graphic books, and if you read this and you see something new that you never saw in any other graphic book, put into my comments. I would love to hear your comments. Like, look at this facial expressions, and then there's something else. Oh, yeah. So here's her level of confidence, where she tells him, "Oh, wow!" And all of these men all around her. He has 200 soldiers there to take her down, and it doesn't work, and they all leave her alone, right? Oh, and there are some beautiful art when they're traveling to a different country, different areas. Pretty pic on the top left here. I wanted to share some of my favorite art. Oh, like, see, look at this one. This is beautiful as well. It goes by nice and slow, so you can practice your own art for some of this, right, too. Here, look at this. This is beautiful, too. There's lots of pretty art in here, so I'm not going to show you everything. I'm going to copy her facial expression there. I know I have a tendency of talking real fast. Oh, yeah. So you don't really see all that in movies because, of course, they can't. I remember when I was little and I was upset at a little girl who lives down the lane with Jodie Foster, and I came back home and immediately felt bad for the hamster. And, of course, my mother immediately said, no, they can't hurt animals for movies. So, and then you can even have the facial expression from the horse there. That would kind of teach you. They always talk about art, improving your art. If you try to draw a person and of course an animal from all 360, you'd learn everything, right? So you'd see this is something different, right? See, even I guess it would still be a facial expression for a horse, right? Learning to copy that. And more beautiful art, lots of art, and what she travels and she carries. She looks like she's probably at least 14 years old, so she's got to be at least 100 pounds. So she's putting 100 pounds on her, and she can do it. And of course, it's the power of women when we have to. More beautiful art. So I'm going to stop here because there's some other stuff that you have to read the book to see the ending. So just as a teaser, you got to go out there and get the book and read it, either buy it or borrow it from the library. But I really want to thank you for listening and clicking onto this video. My name is Kayleen. I started my book. My book is called Mom Remembers Me. I'm figuring out how to publish it right now, so stay tuned for that. I would really appreciate if you liked, comment, and subscribed, because I want to make my channel also a graphic book club as well. So thanks a lot. See you I hope you see me in your next one.